Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to theCUBE's live coverage of Phi Moments. We are here at Google Cloud Next in Las Vegas 2026. I'm your host, Rebecca Knight. I've got two fantastic guests for this next segment. I would like to welcome to the show Ram Kasi, Head of EMEA GCP Business Unit at Quantiphi. Hey. Welcome, Ram.
Hello. Welcome, Rebecca.
And Erik Ashby, Senior Director and Head of Product Research at Helpshift.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Oh, good to be here, Rebecca.
Yeah, I'm excited about this because we're talking about how player support is starting to look very different in gaming and how it's becoming part of the experience itself. Erik, why don't you set the stage for us a little bit and tell us about Helpshift and how it fits into the gaming ecosystem.
Yeah, so Helpshift is really interesting. I've been at Helpshift since around 2016, and when we started, the whole idea was like, how can we provide customer service inside the app? The world was all moving to mobile at that time, and we recognized that when someone had a problem, to leave the phone and to go to a computer to get their problem solved, they're out, they're done. So the idea was like, let's have an in-app customer service. And when we did that, what happened is that the gaming community just really resonated with that, because as gamers, when they have a problem, if they leave to go to do something, then it's like it's over. And so we picked up a lot of gaming companies early on, and we've really kind of doubled down on that. And so we're in a lot of games that are out there that are just very common. In fact, we're over 2 billion devices actually have Helpshift in it today, where they to get customer service.
I mean, keeping players immersed is key. I mean, that's what keeps you in the game, so to speak. But we've all hit those dead-end chatbot moments. Yeah. Can you describe a little bit about what's different about the AI bots you're building now?
Yeah. So you talk about dead end, and so you think about like the problem that gamers have. Like, if I hit any problem at all, any friction whatsoever, like, it's over. I'm just going to be like, fine, I'm just going to go play another game, and you've lost whatever that revenue is. And so, and often chatbots, their workflows. In fact, we talk about journeys, we talk about containment, we talk about deflection, we talk about all these terms, and all of those terms can be combined into one thing: friction. And if you have friction, the player is just going to be gone. And so the AI agent represents an opportunity to just eliminate that friction, because it's dynamic, it's contextual, it can enter in at the time that the player wants. And in fact, what we want to do is we want to be able to solve the problem before they even ask for it, before they even have an opportunity to hit that friction. And that's really what our goal is with the AI agents.
So removing that friction, Ram, that's a vision, and that's a big lift. So as the engineering partner, can you describe a little bit how you bridge that gap and what it took to really move Helpshift into production with Google Cloud?
That's a good question, because with Helpshift, they had a massive dream and big vision of where they want to get to, and that is where a partner, specialized partner like Quantiphi come in, where we bring in three major things in terms of experience, expertise, and scale. When I say experience, Quantiphi has been working with several contact center projects for several larger customers, and we bring in that experience of what it takes to, as Erik was mentioning, delighting a customer, delighting a player, right? So we understand that domain bit of what it takes to build, one. And second is in terms of expertise. As you know, in the last 18 months, 24 months, the technology has completely changed. Every 2 months, new model comes in, new infrastructure comes in, architecture changes. So this is where a specialty partner like us, where 2,500 people, heavily certified, working very closely with Google Cloud, brings us that experience, and Helpshift teams can trust us in terms of working along with them in terms of building or making the vision true. And third is in terms of scale. When you have a large vision, and then the large product roadmap, so that's where a partner like us, we have like 2,500 people, we work very closely with them in their London offices, in their Indian offices. We are able to scale up and down based on their demands and needs as well. So I would put it, on these three things: experience, expertise, and scale.
Yeah, and I would say on when we brought Quantiphi in, one of the things that we worked on is not just the technology, but what was the strategy and the architecture that we wanted. And that's proven out to be very helpful, because as the technology has evolved, we've had to change things, and we've had to change them very rapidly. And having Quantiphi here to help us be able to do that, because we had the right architecture, the right skills in place to be able to do that, has been absolutely phenomenal.
You were able to adapt more quickly and more efficiently.
And in this industry right now, with how fast things are moving, that is one of the keys, is like how fast can you be able to do that?
You
and
need,
that really
you need
helps
that
out.
flexibility.
Absolutely.
So Erik, you've introduced Care AI Agent, Care AI Agent.
Yeah, Care AI Agent.
AI
Yes,
Agent.
yes.
Tell me a little bit about how the platform works.
Okay, so Care AI Agent is one of, actually we have a family of agents, and is sort of the first one that we've come out with. And when we first started, we said, okay, let's take AI agents and let's have them tackle solving problems. And it did okay, it wasn't anything that we were like, oh, this is changing. But then as we were working with Quantiphi, we actually tweaked it a little bit and we said, let's change the goal to be about engaging the player. And so when we made the Care AI Agent like its goal to engage the player, that's when it shifted. That's when we saw a shift in how it worked, how it interacted, the things it did, the answers that it gave, because of course it's going to solve the problem, but its goal is to get the player back in the game. And so if someone has a question, it'll answer the question, and then it's like, okay, now let's take this back into the game. If they have a problem, it'll solve the problem, and then maybe offer them a reward about, okay, here's a reward for, we saw you have this problem, so I'm going to give you something so you go back and play the game. And so that's what the Care AI Agent is about. It's about creating that engagement with that player. And it's been very powerful. Unlike the workflows that would just try to, whatever it was designed, the agent is dynamic, so it can figure that out. Now the other agents we have Engage AI Agent, which is going to be help the management or the agents, actually the human agents, engage with players. We have Community AI Agent, and then all of this, of course, is backed by Guard AI Agent, which we've already deployed, which of course protects the system. But all of those work together in a family of agents that we have. So
how do you make sure that this family of agents is enhancing the human agents and not displacing them?
And that is actually extremely important. That, of course, is the other thing that we wanted to do. Again, when we started with let's take an AI agent, your job is to answer questions or to solve problems or things like that. There was a little bit of friction there because that's what the human agents do and things like that. But then what happened is when we aligned with, okay, this agent, your goal is to engage players in gaming. Well, that's the same as what the human agents, they have now a shared goal. And so if the AI agent comes in, it can take some of the workload, some of the easy questions, or some of the negative questions, like where there's a policy, you can't do this, I'm just going to tell you that. Really, those types of things it can handle, but the more complex things, or let's say you want to have a human come in and give some rewards or things like that, they actually work together. The Care AI Agent will give all of that information, all the history, all the context, over that, so the human agent can step in and be that hero and engage with the player. And so now they're working together on a common goal. And so what's interesting is in that we've seen two things happen. One, we've seen increased player CSAT, which was important, but we also saw a decrease, almost by 2x, in reopen rate from the players. Because often when the players would come in before, when they got a chatbot, they're like, oh, screw it, I'm just going to try and close it out and I'll just try and get a human again. Now what we're seeing is when they come in, talking to an AI agent or an AI agent human, when they're done, they're done. They're happy, they're back in the game. Yeah. And so it's really about getting that goal right.
I would also argue that it would be worth looking at the metric of how engaged the worker is. Because the worker getting to be the hero, that's going to lead to more satisfaction with their job, more interest, more loyalty, more engagement, and those are all the things that keep human workers happy at work.
Yeah, but also just to add on the same multiple agents, Rebecca, there is also what we are trying to, from Quantiphi, and what we are trying to do is, let's build a platform so that all the agents can work on top of that as well, rather than just building a different platform for each of these agents. That becomes much more faster and quicker for them to take it to the market as well.
In fact, and that's the other thing that I think is really unique about Helpshift is it is a customer engagement platform. You have human agents, you have AI agents, and they're just working on that same platform together towards that same goal. And it just is a tool for the brand to engage the players in this case.
Ram, a lot of companies put AI as a layer on top, but what does it mean at scale to build AI directly into the workflow, and how does it change things?
Okay, I think I'm just going to go slightly more deeply in terms of the last 18 months or so. Everybody is thinking there is a lot of off-the-shelf products available, just plug it in, and it can work really well for chatbots, but we have gone through that time in terms of nobody, as Erik was mentioned, nobody wants to talk to a chatbot, they want to close and move out, right? But today we are talking about building an agent which has human level capabilities in terms of autonomy, decision making, close tickets, or even seek help, or activate, as you were saying, give rewards, etc. You need to have deeper integration, etc. as well, right? So this is why, as Quantiphi, we believe in not just adding AI as a layer, but also like let's go build ground up as a platform, which has several functions and securities in terms of, hey, can we build it? Every agent needs security, grounding, scalability, workflows, integration, all different factors. All of it we have to build for every single agent. Why can't we build this as a platform so that customers can make use of the platform and build more agents faster, quicker, but also more secure as well, right? So that's what we believe in. Let's not look at it as a layer, but also look at it as a ground up, build it for them.
Yeah,
right?
And one thing I would say that's really interesting is that, and we've seen this honestly throughout the history of technology, is that as technology comes out, typically it is the gaming community that's like the first to push it. Like when mainframes were out there, they were playing games on it. When PCs came in, they were playing games on it. And so when we've taken our approach with with the player engagement, and the platform that we've built goes far beyond the gaming community, because all brands everywhere, being able to delight the customer, to have the customer engaged, those are fundamental principles. And it actually comes back to the human aspect, where we want to be connected in that experience. And that's what brands are trying to do, is they're trying to create that connection with their consumer. And so that's, all of the technology that we built here is really trying to get that done. And so it goes far beyond, in my mind, beyond gaming, but this is where we really get to incubate and work on it.
So the title of the show is Phi Moments,
yeah.
and it really refers to this moment where something shifts from experiment to real business impact.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear from both of you what that moment was in terms of working with Quantiphi and Helpshift hand in glove.
Yeah.
Do you want to start, Ram, in terms of what you noticed?
Yeah, I think in our case, I think delighting the customer was the key Phi moment for us.
But a hard thing to track in terms of what is delight?
Yeah, and technology is always available, but how can you make the technology get the business outcome, right? In terms of getting that player delight. I think that's where we work towards. I think that's a Phi moment for me.
Yeah, and I think for me, it was that kind of that shift in our mindset when we set the goal of the AI agent to be about engaging with the customer. Because our initial time, initially we're like, oh, let's just make it a customer support agent. And it wasn't until we said, no, you're actually here to engage the player. That was when all of a sudden we saw the transformation. And it was interesting to see it in the numbers, where we saw the CSAT go up, we saw the reopen rate go down, like all of those numbers started showing. We're like, what changed? Well, what changed was the goal. And that's when we realized that that goal is really what kind of pins it all together. And so that, for us, that was the Phi moment.
So as we're wrapping up here, there are, I'm sure, a lot of people watching this video saying, I want to be able to do that in my organization, in my team. I would love to hear from you some advice that you would give to senior leaders who are wrestling with these same challenges and coming up against obstacles in terms of what they should focus on and where they should put their time and resources. Do you want to start, Ram?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I would look at it the same way as answer, like what are we trying to see? And especially for senior leaders, can they look at the outcomes rather than looking at it as a technical challenge in terms of, hey, I want to build an AI agent, rather than look at what problem I'm trying to solve, what business problem I want to solve. If they want to start looking at that, Quantiphi can come and help him in terms of the same three things I said: experience, expertise, and scale, and we can partner up with them and deliver great value.
Excellent.
Yeah. For me, I would say there's a huge temptation to look at the technology, to be like, oh, we're here at Google Next, and went to the keynote this morning, I was like, oh, look, that's neat, oh, look, that's neat, oh, that, there's a huge temptation to be like, oh, we're going to go implement this, and there may even be business cases for it. But the transformation is when you align towards a goal.
Yeah.
And to a pure goal, not just we're going to make money, or it's like, we're here to engage players. That's a really pure goal. And what's so unique about AI is that AI is goal driven. And so we now have a technology where we can actually align that technology at its fundamental around our goals. And so I think that as people are getting into this, they should ask themselves the question, what is my goal? What is it that I'm really trying to do? I'm not trying to deploy this technology, I'm trying to accomplish this, I'm trying to change this. What is that thing? And then align the technology, literally say, you are an agent to help me with that goal, and start there. And then I think you will see a lot of changes that were just unexpected. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, and that's really terrific advice in terms of what the goal boils down to. My last question for you, Erik, because you are a technology veteran, you were at Microsoft for nearly 2 decades before Helpshift. As you both have said, technology is moving at breakneck speed. You feel whiplash every time there's a new product announcement, a new demo. How do you build with something that is moving so quickly in time? The technology is evolving so fast, so what is your best practice in terms of how do you get your team motivated, focused, when technology is moving so fast?
And I think you and I, we've talked about this, is that we're living at a time where technology is moving faster than as consumers we can consume it, and honestly faster than a lot of people even understand what it is. Yeah. And so we need to understand and be okay with that, and put things into place, such as have good partners that can help you with that, such as have a good architecture so you can be able to bring things in and out very quickly. Have good goals so that you know, are you achieving and moving forward, and if not, that's okay, because your architecture, your partner will allow you to change very quickly for that. And so just understanding that we are in this type of an industry that is moving so fast and changing so much, that you then build that into your systems and how you work. And that's what's been great working with Quantiphi, because it's allowed us to do that. And then, of course, as I said earlier, don't lose sight of your goal. Stay focused on that. So.
Stay focused on your goal and choose your partners wisely. Ram and Erik, thank you so much. This is a really fascinating conversation.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I'm Rebecca Knight. Stay tuned for more of theCUBE's live coverage of FI Moments at Google Cloud Next. You're watching theCUBE, the leader in enterprise tech news and analysis.